Alright guys, Bassbill 96 here, and today I'm going to be doing my rod and reel arsenal. I've had a YouTube channel I think for about 3 years now. I've never done one. My rods kind of change occasionally too, but I've had these ones for a while. Usually I try to keep it to about 6 rods, especially when I'm fishing tournaments. I don't want to clutter the deck with like 20 different rods. I have a couple other ones that I'm not going to put in the video because I don't use them quite as much. I usually stick to these 6 rods, so let's get right into it. Alright, so my first rod is my Duckett Micro Magic rod. It's a 7.3 medium heavy rod. This is kind of my all-around stick. I use this a little bit for moving baits like chatterbaits, spinner baits, but occasionally I'll throw a Texas rig or a jig on there too if I'm fishing a lake that requires a couple more rods. Right now I have my Corrado 200 G7 on there. This is a 7:1 gear ratio reel, and I also have braid on here. Usually I have a different reel on here, Lew's BB1 with fluorocarbon, but I was fishing a lake that had a lot of heavy vegetation, so I wanted to bring an extra flipping rod. That's my first rod I got. Second rod right here is one I get a ton of questions about. Everyone's always asking, what is that rod you use with the carbon fiber handle? This is a Patriot custom rod. Jamie Peckenstein out of Gobles, Michigan. He's got a website and everything. I'm going to put that down in the link below. He makes these rods. They run for about $150 to $200, so pretty reasonably priced, and you get exactly what you want, whatever actions, whatever components, the guide, the blank. You get to pick it all out and just customize it however you want, and you can write things on there, whatever you want to put on there. It's a 7-foot medium heavy rod. This is a ultimate jig rod in my opinion. I don't like to go heavier than or longer than a 7 foot because I like to skip under the docks a lot, and it just gets kind of cumbersome having a big long rod trying to fling a jig underneath the dock. The reel I have paired up with this is a Lew's Tournament Pro. This is the older model. This is a 7:1 gear ratio, and this reel is an absolute beast. It casts like butter, super smooth retrieve. Probably my favorite reel that I own. And that's about it for that rod right there. Next up in the lineup is my Powell Diesel. This is a super inexpensive rod. I think I picked this up for $50 on a Tackle Warehouse sale. And this is the 7-foot medium heavy glass series rod. So this is like a crankbait, spinnerbait rod. That's about all I'll throw on this thing because it's not super sensitive and it's got that super moderate action. But it's great for flinging out light crankbaits, and you don't lose a lot of fish too since it's that glass moderate action when you lay into them. And I have that paired up with a Lew's BB1. This is in the 6.4 to 1, 6.3 to 1, whatever, 6 point something to 1 gear ratio. I like that kind of medium retrieve, so I can slow it down if I want to if I'm throwing a bigger crankbait, but it's also fast enough if I want to throw some shallow divers. Next up is one of my other all-around sticks. This one's usually got a Texas rig on it, but I could throw pretty much anything on this rod. This is a 6'8" medium heavy action rod. It's got a fast action tip, and this is paired up with a Lew's Tournament Pro as well. This is the newer version. I don't like this one quite as much personally. I haven't been able to dial it in like perfectly like that one yet. I just got this pretty recently, so I haven't messed around with it a ton. The rod is a Johnny Morris Signature Series rod. It looks just like the Carbon Light, but I think it's supposed to be like one step above. This is my first good bait caster, first good bait casting rod, and I got this like 4 or 5 years ago, so I don't really know even if they make this anymore, but this is an awesome rod. I actually caught my personal best bass on this rod. Up next is another one you were asking questions about both of the rods with the carbon fiber handles. This is also a Patriot custom rod. This is mainly used for drop shotting. Right now, we were messing around for catfish the other day, so I just got a little split shot rig on there. But this is a 7-foot extra fast action rod. This is personally an ideal drop shotting rod if you ask me. I do throw shaky heads and waggers, pretty much any finesse stuff. I do have a couple other spinning rods occasionally I'll bring with when I'm fishing a lake that requires a couple spinning rods, but this is the go-to. This one just gets the job done. And I have it paired up with a Edward Garcia Aura S6, I believe. This is like a $70 retail spinning reel. I think I picked this up at a fishing show for $50. So not a super expensive reel to pair up with this awesome rod. I would like to get something like a Stratic on here, but this thing gets the job done, and I'm just not looking to drop any money on equipment right now. And then last but not least is my Flippin frogging stick. This is the one I mainly use for braid. Like I said, right now I have braid on my Duckett as well, but this is a Denali Sherry Wood, I believe it is. I bought this off someone for $60, so I got a steal on it. And this is pretty much only used for flipping and frogging. This is a 7-foot heavy action rod, so this is gonna horse those fish out of heavy cover. I've had no problems with this. It's a little bit heavy, but it's like, if you're using a 7.4 heavy, it's to be expected in my opinion. So I've got used to it. It's really not bad. It doesn't have the split grip, which I actually kind of like for my flipping and frogging rod, because you're able to get some better hook sets and lay into those fish without worrying about messing with that split grip rod. And then on here I have my Shimano Corrado I-Series rod. This thing actually has been giving me some issues. It's making some really strange noises. I threw a Huddleston on it once, and it was only a 6-inch shad, so it's not even that heavy of a lure, and it completely like roasted the bearings, I'm pretty sure, in here. So I have to see what I'm going to do about this thing. It still casts fine, and it's still somewhat smooth. It just makes a really awful noise. But that's my rod and reel arsenal, guys. Any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. I do, like I said, have a couple other rods you might see in videos and stuff, but these are my main go-to 6 rods. If you're going to fish tournaments, I recommend bringing about 6 rods if you can afford it, or if you're looking to get into tournament fishing, you want to try to shoot for about 6 so you can cover all the wide range of lures that you need to throw. But thanks for watching, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and going to be making a ton more videos, so stay tuned.